Hello, everyone. Welcome to TNT and Friends. This is the show where we share our thoughts and we bring the true side of China to the world. So today, we're going to talk about the lies CCP made to the world. Now, Nastix, can you share your thoughts about the way you view China?
Well, I see China. Well, you hear about China a lot in the news, and whenever you hear about it, it's usually not very good. And so, I've done my own research about China. But personally, like how I view the culture, like I really like the Chinese language, but and yeah, they make some good TV shows too. And so, well, we learn in school that China, their economy has like really grown a lot in the past few years. Like industry, yeah.
Can Sparky, can you share your thoughts about China? And have you ever been to China before?
I've been to China once, well, more than once. I've been to it multiple times, and every now there, I'm not very good at communication, but they have a um they have a good community. The economy has grown a lot ever since last century, and well, it's it's an interesting culture. There's many good things. There's also news about it. Now what I feel like is that the news I feel a little isolated when I've been there. Sometimes I see some uh I'm not sure how to say this. When I was in China, I noticed that the internet was pretty hard to use because of the there's been some apps that have been blocked. I'm not sure, but I'll just say that it has interesting culture, the language is pretty nice, But I feel like the internet is pretty harsh to get around. That's all I'm gonna say for now.
Okay, all right. So I'm gonna personally share my experience living in China. So it wasn't that long, but I did live in China for 1 whole year. And the thing I like felt was the internet. Yes, what Sparky said was a true thing. It was really harshly. It was restricted really hard. Yes, and I couldn't access any other social media like I use in America's like Instagram, nor Twitter, nor Facebook. And another thing I found out was the people of China don't are not used to standing out to speak out for their freedom. So, following up, we're gonna show you guys a video about the real side of China, in which the Chinese Communist Party directed people to send aids in the during the CCP virus epidemic, like meat through via garbage cans.
这脸也脱走，销毁证据啊，这是要啊。
Oh, okay. So, and another thing is that the government of the Chinese Communist Party does double standards, meaning they have different standards to different parts of the world, to different groups of people. The government officials can use Twitter as the way of their propaganda, but normal people are not allowed to use it. And then they even get arrested for using a VPN. Arrested, like they actually arrest you for using a VPN. Americans think the first video, this construction thing, just bumped a car and crashed it off, like with someone inside the car. So what the video is trying to express is that the Chinese Communist Party does not care of their citizens' life and death. Like Yeah, that's what it's trying to say.
Oh.
I mean, do you want to see the video again?
No, I remember. I just like didn't really know what was happening.
Okay. And the second video was talking about the Wuhan epidemic. Like, so we call it's basically the COVID-19 virus. But I call it CCP virus because technically, not technically, scientifically, it came from a lab in the China in China. So it's like man created.
How did they like why did they make it? Or
Oh
So
how?
no, it
good
wasn't.
question.
Oh, the virus? Well. First of all, this is just an accusation. We don't really have a like solid evidence to show in court or anything. But probably Dr. Yan Limon is doing that part. But if provided this virus is made by the CCP, then I guess they have like several experience before. If we connect it with the SARS in 2003, I don't know if you guys have born yet. But anyway,
Oh,
it. Sorry, but it happened once, like in 2003, and people are wondering whether that is another trial of them controlling or using the virus to control people to try to make a chaos. And well, I think the bottom line is to protect their interests and to control people. Like when people are sick or there's like an invisible virus out there in the society, then the citizens or the people are easy to manage to control them. Like you see the situation lockdown, like in China this time, when people cannot go outside, and when the government just show them a piece of paper saying that you can't go outside, there's a virus out there, you have to stay at home, no matter you have food or you have drinks, doesn't matter, you just can't go out. Then this is a way to control people, to try to ease some other problems that are having, because with the economic situation and also the unfairness in the society, like a lot of people are under their totalitarianism and their tyrant, so they want to fight back probably. But then at this moment, then they got this virus, so that that's true. Oh, okay, nope. Okay, it's okay. All right, so I'm gonna continue. So to sum up, the first reason why they like fabricate or create this virus is for their authority. Like they want to control people, so that people are afraid of getting infected when they go out. So when they got a personal issues with the government, with their messed up management, then they want to appeal, or they want to just fight back. But then you got this virus, so you have to stay at home. So that's the first reason, from my opinion, because for totalitarianism, whatever they do, the sole purpose or the bottom line for them is to control the people, so that they don't riot or things like that. So that's the first reason, I can guess. And the second is, I think they're just devil, because we are normal people. We have a common sense, and we have natural like logics and everything. We think in a normal way. But if we regarded the CCP as a devil, then whatever they do doesn't really need a reason. They just want to do bad. It's just like when criminals committed crime, sometimes it's just for fun. If you watched like tons of episodes of Criminal Minds, the TV series, you would understand when the criminals committed the crime, they didn't need any reason. They just do it for fun. So probably when they do the virus stuff, they just want to test like how powerful they are. Like, I got all the power and I got all the virus control, and you guys have to listen to me. That's why Milesguo or a lot of people are saying that this virus is just like AI virus, artificial virus, which means that the virus has its own mind, seemingly, so that whatever the CCP want this person to get infected, then he will be infected by the virus. So that's another reason. Like they just want to show like, okay, CCP is the most powerful entity in this society, or even, not only in China. The thing is, for this time, before we're saying that the SARS in 2003 is just a trial that to test it on Chinese people only, then this is the second time, and they got greedier and they got bolder. so that they want to test on the whole planet. I mean, on Earth. Like seeing, like I just have the power to control every country. So if you don't listen to CCP, if you don't support us, no matter where we are, like WHO or UN or any part of the country, if you don't listen to us, if you don't listen to the CCP, which I mean, you will be in a huge trouble. And I can use the virus as a bio weapon to control. So it not only control Chinese people this time, it also trying to control the people throughout the world, as long as they're against the CCP's will. So I guess the second reason is that they're not only try to control the Chinese people, they have all the control, so they don't care. And then they got greedier, like I said, and they want to show the world that China is the number one country, the superpower country in the world, no longer the US. And you guys have to listen to CCP. And then if you don't, then I have this like weapon to make you do that. So I guess that's the two reasons. But as I can summarize, the first reason is because they want to control people in China, and the second is they want to control the whole world. So yeah, a good, yeah, right. Yes, that's a great way. I guess Sparky got on the right point. He said that it's a good chance for the government to hurt the citizens that were rebelling. Yeah, like Hong Kong. If you have watched several videos from Milesguo saying, like, when last year when the Hong Kong protest occurred, and then they were thinking about how to control, how to manage, or how to make people just go back home and don't do the protesting and everything. So they failed with the gun, like the bullets and everything. So they started to use this virus as a biological weapon to manage the situation in Hong Kong. And somehow it just accidentally or purposely they just bring the virus back to the mainland China in Wuhan or things like that. And then, like I said, it's a way for the government of the CCP to control the citizens, to hurt the citizens, so that they will stop rebelling, like to form or to make their regime stable. So that's the first reason. And the second is, as you can see nowadays, the world outside China are not really listening to the CCP anymore. They kind of awakening more and more, so that if they use the virus, it worked in Hong Kong, then it will work in the rest of the world. So that's why America got it the most severe situation in America. That is because America is the enemy of CCP, and now they got this weapon, and they just use this weapon to target on those who just fight back them the most, or the most powerful, that is USA. So that's why you guys are in such a living hell, I guess, because CCP just know they can use this virus to mess up with your life and the way you're living. The reason why you're wearing a mask out there, the reason why you're afraid that would I get affected someday, or the reason why you can't go outside and hang out with your friends to enjoy the fireworks at night, or to whatever you basically normally do. They change the way of living, and then you blame your government, and then it's just the internal mess or chaos. And not to mention the riots because of the George Floyd and everything. It's just a total setup initiated by the CCP. Just try to make the US a mess, so that you wouldn't have extra energy to care about what the CCP is doing to the rest of the world. So the virus is the greatest weapon. It's not only a biological weapon that kill people, but also politically, it's gonna help the CCP to fulfill their wish to control the whole world. They got greedy once again. I don't know if just the chairman, Xi's fault or anything, but this probably it's not only him. It's just the devil just want more and more until he control the everything. So that's what I think. All right, so Yangzi, back to you.
All right, so what you talked about is the CCP is trying to dominate the world and exploit on their own citizens. They're trying to control over the resources of the world and trying to take away political power globally and trying to become the number one of the world. So that might be the main reason since there was news and calculations telling us that the CCP was the Chinese Communist Party was buying personal protective equipment, also known as PPE, all over the world during the epidemic, and also at no at low prices they asked people to donate these personal protective equipment and leaving the world with no less of this kind of protective equipment. So what happened is the US became short of this kind of backup, and they didn't know what the truth behind this virus. They thought it wouldn't kill people. They thought it was just like a flu. I mean, flu does kill people, but this virus is much more severe than the flu. So they had this doctor that came from Hong Kong University, and she like exposed the truth of this virus. Yeah, so that's why there's no vaccine, because it mutates too fast. And another thing is that at the time the epidemic just broke out, Hong Kong was at great protesting in which the people were fighting for the
Mm-hmm.
so the people were fighting for the five demands and for their freedom of speech, religion, and to politically be able to vote for their prime ministers and stuff like that. And so the thing that in a totalitarian society, this is not allowed because they want to take control over the whole government, the whole country, and even the whole world. But every time, like Elon Musk said, that every time communism has tried, it has failed. It is not going to work out.
Okay. So like I got a question for you guys, like Sparky and Nestix, is that when people are telling you, like the first time you know that probably it's the CCP who just released the virus and everything, do you believe it, or you just need a further evidence to convince yourself, like, okay, this is done by CCP, or you're still wondering? Because this is our position. Like TNT took the position that the CCP did make the virus and everything, but I'm just telling you guys. But do you believe this, or you still need more evidence to convince?
I mean, I probably need like a lot more evidence. Well, I'm just like
Mhm.
generally a person who like really likes facts. So probably if they ever did an investigation or something, like a formal investigation about it, and then
Mhm.
they came out with it actually came out with something, then I'd probably believe it. But like I'm not
Mhm.
really gonna
Still,
like believe something that's just a claim.
just pure words, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's let's talk about investigation. Then the U.S. has asked China to open the gate and allow the experts to come inside China and to do the investigation, but China refused for millions of times. So if you were, let's do this game. If you were the CCP, like, why wouldn't you allow the experts to come inside and to figure it out? What can be the reason that the CCP doesn't want the experts to come inside and to do the investigation, which should be normal, right? So what do you guys
Well,
think?
yeah, it kind of seems like they're hiding something, but then again, if China suspected the U.S. of something and just asked them to investigate their country, they probably would say no too.
Would say no too. Okay. Then as an American, do you think it's okay for the well, if it did happen in America, let's just reverse the role here. So if the CCP asked the America to open the gate and to investigate as a normal, like as a citizen, would you have any say to this? Like, would you just get all excited and say, no, you can't get inside this country. You just get out of there. Do your own business. Would you get this aggressive or a little bit protective, or you just think, oh, go ahead, or even you would disagree with the government and you would allow the Chinese experts or the international experts to come in to America to do the investigation?
Um,
You get my point. You guys get my point.
I mean, yeah, I guess so.
So would you say it's okay, or you would just say no too?
I mean, I probably, yeah, like if the virus started here and China suspected us of something, then yeah, I would probably. I mean, if the, yeah, probably. I don't know. I'm not sure. Like, Jack, do you
Okay.
have anything to
Yeah,
say?
Sparky. Yeah, Sparky.
Oh, sorry,
What do you
Tell me.
think?
Sparky.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
yeah, you.
okay. Try to rephrase the question one more time so I can.
Okay, of course. So what I was asking was like, so when we talk about this evidence, so first of all, if I tell you or if the media tells you that this virus is made by the CCP, released by from their lab, would you believe it, or you would you would need more evidence to convince yourself?
Well, it is pretty convincing, but I am pretty sure I'm gonna need more evidence. But at first, it would
Mhm.
actually be. It's still, for in my opinion, I think it's a pretty evil way of the the government, the
Mhm.
C, what was it again, the
The
CCP.
Chinese Communist Party. Yeah.
Oh yes, yeah, okay. So the CCP. Well, I would assume that they were gonna pretty much use the virus as a biological weapon uh,
Mhm.
to actually uh, gain power in
Mhm.
order to actually make America look horrible. And this,
Mhm.
uh, so horrible that they can pretty much try to take over at some point in the future. But for now, I'm thinking about looking out for more evidence if I were
Mhm.
to research on that as a researcher.
Mhm.
It might say.
Like what kind of evidence would be like powerful and trustworthy enough to make people believe it is happening?
Well, I can. Well, there's not. There's a lot of sources already that I just feel like I
Mm-hmm.
can start from scratch and then look into.
Yeah.
I just don't. I just don't know where to look at it per se.
Yeah. And another question I was asking is that so when the U.S. or the world is asking China to open the gates and to invite the international experts to go inside Wuhan, the origin of this virus, and to do the investigation and everything to see where the virus is come from, then the Chinese government said no. So if this happened, if let's just imagine, so if it's originally from US and now the outside world like China or the international experts want to get inside US to find out the virus. So would you say okay? Would you think it's okay if
Well,
just
if I was a CCP and if I
mm-hmm,
wanted to take over the world, I would not
mm-hmm,
have actually gone to help the U.S. To help research on the virus because
mm-hmm,
that would give them the upper advantage of having more stability. For example, as you already know, the economy around the world right now during this
mm-hmm,
pandemic is actually pretty has gone pretty. Um, I'll just say downhill because
yeah,
the government, I mean the economy and the government itself in the U.S. is already very. Well, I'm just gonna say it's a living hell right now.
mm-hmm, yeah, sure.
So just imagine if there wasn't a lot of help in the U.S., it would pretty much be doomed. I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So
So I
pretty
got
much.
another question. One last question. Sorry, one last question, but from my side, just pure curiosity. I mean, when something huge happens, like this virus and everything, or if the governments of the U.S. Does something wrong, or you disagree with them, like, would you care that much about like the identity of America? If I mean, in China, let's just give you an example. So when something happened in China, that got accused by the outside world, like this virus, when people are saying this is not Wuhan virus, this is so discrimination or things like that, then a lot of Chinese citizens would get just all popped up and just got aggressive and saying that the whole world is trying to bully Chinese people. But would this happen in America? Like, would you care about the political stuff and the accusation or the blame from the outside world saying America did something wrong, or I'm not happy with the Americans, this and that? So as an American, you yourself, would you feel offensive? Would you feel like this is offensive to you when people are accusing American for something?
Well, it would be offensive because, obviously, of course, they're not. Attacking a person doesn't mean that you're gonna actually justify the fact that something was created because of somebody. If it wasn't created by somebody, then it wouldn't make any sense to attack the person. And if it was a person, however, that would actually, the person wouldn't really fight back because they would accept the truth. If they were trying to lie even more, that would actually make them look more guilty. Let's just say I would respond if it was actually wrong. But if it wasn't, I would just agree with the fact and then just suck it up and just not lie about it.
Okay, all right, thank you.
That's one
Like,
opinion from
yeah,
my own
probably
perspective.
if it was directed at like a specific group of people in America, then like if it was like directed towards a group of like a group that I'm a part of in America, then probably I would be offended, if they're making a claim about like a stereotype or something, which is how yeah, that's like, it's understandable the way the Chinese people feel about that, because like calling it the Wuhan virus and stuff like that, it's just or like CCP virus, sorry, and stuff like that. It's just like the problem is the CCP, not the Chinese people. So people are kind of like directing their anger towards the wrong group of people.
Yeah, right. Thank you. Yang, if the floor is yours. I'm out offline.
Thank you. So, following up, I'm going to talk about the Great Firewall of China, which is known as the Chinese firewall, which is a combination of legislative actions and technologies enforced by the People's Republic of China. Actually, it is the Chinese Communist Party, like the government itself, not the people. The people don't want the internet to be censored or stuff like that. They want to see the way outside world people react to things that happen all over the world, and including China. So some things that happen is that people cannot see what is outside. The media deeply censors any message against the Chinese Communist Party. And another thing is that the Chinese people themselves, like, they compile themselves with the Chinese Communist Party. They think they're part of the Chinese Communist Party because of their education. Like, they basically brainwash you since you're like in elementary, and they tell you you're a Chinese communist. You're raised up as a communist person, and so they are like deeply hang up them like connect themselves to this Chinese feeling. Like, they feel are um, Chinese people are part of the Chinese Communist Party. So the internet censorship in China is basically to make them believe that they like to make this a more complete feeling. And this not only.
I do have a couple questions for two of your friends. Can I ask right now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
All right, I'm
Sorry
here.
for interrupting. Yeah. My first question is, do you guys have the TikTok account?
Oh, unfortunately, I don't have one. Or
Well,
not
I have
before.
one, but I don't.
Or
use
you
it
should say,
that often.
fortunately, I don't have one.
I mean, it would make sense to well, first of all, we have there's media out there that says that the Chinese apps that well, I'm just gonna say that there are Chinese companies that own apps like TikTok, but there were accusations that the Chinese government is actually using those apps to actually spy. That's why the military of America, or the U.S. specifically, doesn't allow the soldiers to actually download TikTok on their app because they're scared
Okay.
that that China might be, well, not that the Chinese government is actually using them.
Okay. My question for Nastics, when you use that, I mean, you probably, if you don't use that much, you probably watch lots of videos that your friends is made, right? Like you like to just browsing what's happening, what other people is doing, and what is popular, because there are lots of people, they're after a lots of viewers. Like I see some girls, she has like millions of the likes, thumbs up. So, like, are you really like what do you think when you see those popularities of the TikTok has in United States? What's your feelings? Just tell me how you feel.
I don't really have any like strong feelings about it, but I think it's kind of interesting how it's like really easy to get popular on the app, and it's like because like it's like so easy to like get to like you're on it for like an hour and you don't even realize that you're on it for that long.
So basically, it's very popular among young people. Would you
Yeah,
think
because like
it's okay? Okay, so my next question is why you think do you know that the TikTok actually have a different version in China, which is completely separate from America. Basically, what I mean is, even though it's the same kind of app, but in US you cannot download the China version, and in China you cannot download the US version, so they're completely separate. Even though everything else, the functions, everything else, the features, it's exactly the same. Do you know that?
uh no, I didn't know that, but that's probably because like they don't want their people seeing a lot of the well, compared to China, a lot more stuff are uncensored in the US, and just not like what they want their people to see.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And Jack, why you, as a person who visit China multiple time, what do you think? Why they done that way?
To wait, I'm lost already. So
They
tell me.
separate the TikTok from they separate the TikTok. They have a
Yeah,
US version, they have America, they have a Chinese version, but US version actually, anybody in the free world with no internet censor, they can actually see it. From France, from
so
UK, from Europe, they can't they all could see that one. But in China, like the Chinese, it's like in a cage that they can only see what's happening among Chinese. They cannot see anything outside their world, outside that country.
Well, first of all, to have two things separated would mean in that you want to hide something from one side to another. Let's just say that the Chinese version of TikTok is actually trying to hide the Chinese people from seeing how America is going, or to share information. I'm pretty sure it's two factors. Either you don't want the somebody to see info or criticism, basically. Let's just say that America is actually stating something horrible about the CCP, and the CCP would obviously have to censor that information or to the Chinese people, because if the
Why?
Chinese people started to rebel, I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
but why
they.
why you why you think that the CCP is doing that? Why?
just to actually control over they're trying to control the people. If they knew what was going on, they would the people would rebel or pretty much it would make the CCP look horrible one, and also the CCP would be a little weaker if there's people rebelling.
Okay. All right. So my next question is, think about if any kind of apps in your phone right now that you use every day, and the collect on there's a backdoor that this company consistently collecting your personal data, including who you are, where you go, and who you talk to, everything. And then they send the data to the government. So for the government, they can use that to punish you on what you say, what your idea is, things like that. How do you feel if things like this happen to you?
Well,
Definitely
first
feel
of all,
like
I would be very mad because if my information was shared to any strangers, not only I would be in danger of the CCP, also to the outside world. The outside world is pretty scary, and not everybody knows how to deal with everything. It's pretty scary. I would be very mad, and then of course I would actually try to rebel against the situation. How horrible something. There's It's the art of manipulation, basically. And I don't like manipulation. It's and
So
I like
so so
yes,
so what I understand is you feel like your freedom or your rights is right of the free speech is being violated by the company, right?
yes. That's
The
that
violation.
would be more accurate
Okay.
as of
Okay.
what
What
you
about
said.
Gnostics? What do you think?
Well, the
oh
United
yeah, I was just gonna
States,
say you definitely feel like a lack of freedom of speech, because
yes,
you're not able to say your opinions freely without feeling like am I going to be punished for like punished for what I say? Like yeah, things like that. Yeah.
Okay, so this is very obvious example that you guys can put yourself in that shoes. That's exactly how Chinese people living their life daily. Basically, whatever apps they're using, they'll get censored. If they say something against the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, somebody is sending that information to the back door. So the police gonna knock their door and take them away because what they think is not okay. Regardless, it's against CCP and say bad things about the government. Basically, they don't have any rights of the free speech. Basically, that's what it is.
Yep. So another thing I want to say is, so I know Sparky, you're a gamer, and I'm sort of a gamer. I like playing games, and I do play Chinese games. And then so once I was playing this game in my phone, and so I did touch some sensitive words like freedom of speech in Chinese, and then they basically just blocked whatever I said. Like they replaced it with stars. What would you think of that if that happened in America? You can't talk about Trump. You can talk about Biden.
oh, uh,
I
well,
mean,
not
uh huh.
go on. Wait,
So
uh,
I know it is not really relevant in the game, but like if like they keep on talking about politics and you're not able to, yep, stuff like that.
well, first of all, I can relate to a situation like this when games sometimes are very sensitive to um, very harsh words like bad words, for example. You can't really say very sensitive words. Sometimes it's like it's trying to actually control the people so that they don't do stuff that is actually not allowed usually. That's one way to relate to the CCP. Sometimes, like, if you say something bad about it, they're gonna try to censor you. Say something else. And for gaming, it's more like similarly in gaming, you don't want your children to actually go out of control because of some bad words. I would assume, right?
Um, so anything you want to share about your feelings after hearing so much?
Well, after a whole lot of stuff that has happened throughout the year, I'm pretty sure that well, first of all, I've been seeing some videos about about foreigners in China actually trying to live, and then the CCP is actually, well, the foreigners actually um trying to show how China is their lifestyle in China. But then there's also the debates about like how the CCP is actually treating them. I've seen I seen a video where this man got there was basically they were trying to honey trap him. Honey trapping means as in trying to seduce him and to make him look bad. That's one video I saw. I'm not sure from which channel it is, but I definitely noticed that the CCP is actually doing either the CCP is actually doing something to make him look bad, or maybe it's just some. I'm not sure what to say about that.
I mean, anything new than what you thought before? Like, I think Imping, the place you went in China, was a beautiful city, and like, is there anything new? Like,
Anything new in that city?
no, not the city,
Well,
like the way you view China, and like, yeah, like the way the Chinese government treats its people.
well, when I went to China a while ago, like saw I already noticed the difference that freedom in the difference of freedom in the U.S. and China. The U.S. was more well, they were open to media, and then when I was like, I used my phone one day, try to like go around China, and they blocked some of my favorite apps such as YouTube. I was actually a little bit frustrated, and then when I noticed that they can arrest me for having a VPN when somebody else, I was surely panicking that every single day in China was just ruined basically because of that kind of rule. That's one way of saying it.
Okay.
Mm.
So Nastic, is there anything new you think about? Any new thoughts after hearing this much?
Well, I kind of just like clarified what I already knew about China. Like, I like their culture and things like that. But there's like a problem with a lot of censorship and things like that. Like, for example, like one time I was watching this Chinese show, and then it got canceled after season one because like the government said that like there was just like stuff in it that they said they didn't like. So and like it had a pretty big fan base, so like a lot of people were kind of disappointed about that. And so yeah, that's like yeah.
And Nastic, I do have a question for you. Um, what do you feel if Hollywood is actually doing the censorship for the CCP right now? That some of the movies, they're kind of just cancel the topics who is very sensitive to CCP, which is they knew CCP is not going to like it, so they just automatically change either the themes or the topics or the name of the locations, stuff like that. How you feel about those? The American, they're doing the censorship for them.
I probably I probably feel kind of angry because it's like you're trying to control like what I'm seeing, what I'm thinking. Like you're trying to control what someone is thinking and like viewing, and so yeah, they're just sorry. And yeah, I just kind of feel violated. Like I should have the option to watch what I want. Like you shouldn't have someone trying to control what you see.
What about you, Jack? What do you think?
Well, the censorship. Well, if I was being censored, if I was being censored by the U.S. just so that the Chinese um government or CCP would actually be able to uh manipulate, I'll just say, I would be frustrated at first, and then the problem would probably escalate from there because from I'm pretty sure every single thing has its own beginning, and I would be frustrated. There would be more emotions. I would also make get angry, and when I actually like, but the thing is, like, I feel like I can also try to contact other people. That there's not, if I spread the word around, it's gonna be a lot harder for the censorship to happen. But of course, I would be frustrated, very angry. For example, if I
Exactly.
say, if I, if especially this would be a lot more frustrating if the Chinese Communist Party was actually doing something horrible to me, like I
Okay.
didn't do anything at all.
So
As,
so okay. So my question is, what do you consider horrible? Basically, the movie that you watch, lots of the money, flowed to Hollywood is actually from CCP. So that's why, because the CCP is paying a lot of money to Hollywood. That's why that's their customer. They're probably VIP, so they have to do something to plead the US, the CCP. But the information that the people is getting out of the movie and the TV show is already being censored. So you don't feel any anger, or you don't want to do anything about this?
well, I would try to do something about it because uh first of all, I don't like it when I'm being accused of something, or maybe I'm just or I don't like it when I'm not able to actually do something about it.
Mm,
Let's just say, for example, I try to send a message to somebody, and then somehow the internet just goes out. That's
okay.
If the internet goes out, I can't. I'll be frustrated to know that that my message has not been sent. If it's not been sent, if my message hasn't sent, it would actually um the other perspective would be like, oh, so you're basically not doing it. So you're basically scared to do something.
Okay.
I guess that's
So
not
so
very good
basically,
answer.
you don't want to live in fear of
I don't.
by accused of what you think and how you do things, and to express your feelings, and you don't want to live under the pressure. You don't want to live in fear by what you say and how you think, right?
Yes, I do not want. I do not want to feel fear about of everything I just do. That's
Okay.
not how life works.
Then so based on my previous question, so you basically going to tell your friends that if this movie that Hollywood made, or that movie or that TV show is actually censored already by the Hollywood itself, or the producer, and it's influenced by the CCP. So so the action you're going to take is you going to spread the words, and then tell your friends this is not cool. Is that right?
Yeah, I would. Pretty. Okay.
Yeah, I'd probably tell like
Yeah.
people I knew about it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yangzi, it's your turn.
All right, so thank you all for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.